let you spout off here a little bit. Defensive tackle. So we ended up trading from the Raiders, Neil Farrell Jr., a second-year guy out of LSU, kind of a run-plugging defensive tackle. But we kept 4 D tackles on the roster: Tershawn Wharton, Derek Nottie, Keandre Coburn, and Neil Farrell Jr., the new guy from LSU that we traded from the Raiders. Also interesting that we did an in-division trade with the Raiders. But one guy noticeably not in that room is Chris Jones, who's on the reserve did not report list. Yesterday, Brett Veach came out and said that he's talking to Chris Jones and his people, and they expect him to be there for week 1 and playing in that game against the Detroit Lions. Shortly after that, and made mention to it, he posted an Instagram story of himself just sitting on the sidelines in uniform, but just sitting down on the sidelines looking yonder at the field. If you look closely at that, there's so many different people are looking at. One, people are saying that he's sitting down. That means he's going to sit out. 2, it looks like he's ready to go. Also, if you look at the arena, that's also the Allegiant Stadium where the Super Bowl will be played this year, the Vegas Stadium. So you can make the argument that, hey, like he's ready to go to be sitting on the sidelines during the Super Bowl. I mean, that mean also. But JD, what do you make of the DT room, and what do you make of the latest on Chris Jones?
I don't know too much about Neil Farrell. I don't know that much. I think the D line room is what it is. The thing is, we understand that Chris Jones is a guy that we need. Okay, and I think that they're banking on him being there, to be honest with you. And so these other guys, you're always trying to find a piece that's going to be able to go with Chris Jones. Okay, we have been building our defense around what Chris brings to the table for the past few years. Okay, there's no doubt about it, and so we can't miss his impact. We can't diminish what he's given here to the Chiefs. We can't just start all of a sudden hate on Chris, make him the villain when we shouldn't have to vilify him. For what reason? Okay, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna try to be here with it, and then I'm gonna try to leave it alone. Okay, until Chris gets signed. Okay, all right, because I think that's where we all need to be. But look, I played in this league for a long time. I had 4 contract negotiations during those times I was in the league. Each contract negotiation is tough. It's going to be, somewhat could be lengthy. There could be some things being said, things going down that we don't quite know, which none of us know. But I'm assuming how people take it in from where it went from Chris to the Catch Brothers to them being the ones that are the issue and the problem, and nobody's talking about the Chiefs on their side being the issue and the problem, right? Because we know Veach is trying to get a deal. We understand that, and rightfully so. That's his job. He's supposed to get a job and work the contract situation out so we can have more money down the road, right? Cap's going up every year. Money's going to come. We understand this. But we need to understand that Chris is, because everybody's want to use his age against him, he's saying, look, my last year on my contract, I'm going to be making $20 million while I'm being underpaid. He's being underpaid now. He knows that. The Chiefs know that. Matter of fact, Brent Veach has said he deserves a big contract. This is what Brent Veach said. We don't have to say it. I don't have to say it. Brent Veach himself has said that. They've known this for the past 2 years. They've known this. So it's not like all of a sudden this thing has just come up. This is something that had been in the works for a while. So addressing that situation, it just takes, a balance of understanding where everybody is, okay? And everybody's getting so invested into this thing that they're almost like starting to hate Chris. It's going to be a lot of hate here, and, we'll move on. Look, the NFL is going to be okay regardless of who's playing, okay? If Patrick Mahomes don't play another down, the NFL is going to be okay. That's not the point of it. The point is we want to be able to make sure that we have us a dynasty here. Chris Jones puts us in that conversation, puts us in a better position to get that dynasty. We've won 2 Super Bowls with that man. 2. He's been so pertinent in what we do, paramount in that success that we have. He is PM15 on the other side of the defensive side of the ball. So we need to just understand, like, look, we need to all just back away from this, but Chris has every right to go after trying to get and capitalize on the time that he has. Because he is 29, about to be 30, and then this is going to be his last contract. He wants to be a Chief for the rest of his life. Brent Veach wanted to be a Chief for the rest of his life. Those things are synonymous. We understand that. So we shouldn't be sitting over here throwing stones and bricks and everything at Chris every chance we get. But we're not sitting there saying anything about the organization trying to be the halfway. And I think Brent, them are trying to work it out. They're going to get there. They're going to get there. Okay. And I get, Chris is, he's trolling everybody. He's saying different things. People are over it. I get it. I'm over the whole situation. I hate that everybody's sitting over here like just piling on him though. Okay. He's having fun with it. Now all of a sudden it's not no fun. Everybody's pounding on with it. Oh, we know where his priorities are. His priorities are trying to win a championship. That's what his priorities are. But you think that he doesn't have an invested interest in his own body and in his own, his own future? All of a sudden that shouldn't matter? I would never say that to anybody. I would never say to anybody who's working any type of job that you shouldn't worry about your future and your family's future because everybody wants you to be the company guy and take a better deal so they can get the product that they want, right? I would fight and advocate for each and every person who's out there working their job. If you've been one of the top 2 at your job, I don't care what position it is, whether you're making $20,000 or $20 million, okay? If you're paid, you're one of the top of your position, and then all of a sudden your pay goes from $20,000 to $30,000, you think I'm not going to advocate for you not to get that $30,000 when that is your worth? Now, we don't even know what Chris is asking for. We don't. But we do know he's worth more than $20 million. We know he's worth more than being the 9th paid defensive tackle or defensive lineman in the NFL. We know that. That is a fact. That is a fact. We cannot lose that fact because all of us want the product. We just want the product. This is what comes with the product. These ain't my words. This is Brent Veach saying this. This is the Chiefs organization saying this. They just work in negotiation. It's negotiating. It's going to be painful. It's going to take a long time. Painstaking things you have to do to get what you need to get to. For us as Chiefs fans to win championships and watch them guys win the rings. Okay? That's what it is. So this is my last time I'm going to talk about it until Chris signs. All right? But I'm absolutely, without a doubt, I'm on Chris's side. And I'm on the Chiefs side. I think these guys can make this resolute and get to a point where they could compromise where they need to be. And I think they will do that. Okay? I just hate all the other noise that's out here that's piling on Chris and saying all these things, fine, then be over it, whatever. Okay? Let's watch these guys cheer these guys on who's in the building, who's going to get there. We'll cheer Chris like that. Patrick Mahomes said himself. When this deal goes in, we're going to take him in open arms. You know why? Because they love Chris. Chris loves these guys. All these guys is out there that's playing ball. They understand that, negotiations is a long time. It takes it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun all the time. It's not. It's not goody gun drops all the time that we think it's going to be. It doesn't happen that quick all the time. It just doesn't. I've seen it too many times. I done been in it too many times to understand how contracts work. So let them have their space, man, and let it work out. I do. But we start using reasons why we shouldn't need Chris, why we hate on Chris. All they have 4.9 yards a carry. Well, shoot, nobody talking about the back end, what we had. It wasn't just Chris. Why we put it on him? What about all the other guys that was around Chris that was giving up the 4.9? Chris might not have been the problem for that 4.9. Could have been other people around him. what we want to do, we want to justify every other thing why Chris is not doing. I'm sorry. I know it's been a long thing, and I'm talking about it. That's where I am with it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know what? I'm a fan of Chris Jones, still a fan of Chris Jones. He's not doing anything to hurt his legacy. He's not doing anything that I feel is selfish. I don't think he's doing anything that will tarnish everything that he's done and he's achieved here with the Chiefs. Nobody's going to be able to take it away from him. Nobody.
I agree with you, JD, 100%. It's one of those things. It's like, people think it's two sides to this. There's really only one side, because Chris Jones and Chiefs have one thing to gain from this. It's the Super Bowl. Chris Jones can get that contract, play Denver, and never win a Super Bowl again. Do you think he wants to do that? No, he doesn't want to do that. He wants to be able to get second high. Well, we don't know what the conversation is, but initial reports are second highest paid defensive tackle. He wants second highest paid DT money, but he also wants to stay with Kansas City. Kansas City wants him to stay in Kansas City, but they want a fair deal. So hopefully they can. The two sides have one thing in common. They have one goal. It's to win. So hopefully they can get it together.
Let me ask this question: Is Chris Jones the second best defensive lineman in the NFL right now?
Oh yeah,
arguably, right? Number 1 and 2, arguably.
Yep,
he is, right. So he should be paid accordingly. He should be paid accordingly. And look, it's not Chris Jones against Brent Veach. It's them dealing with the contract negotiation and getting the contract is the issue. That's it. They're going to work that thing out, okay? I just hate to see that, when Chris comes back, man, you might hear some boos. That would floor me. I would absolutely, I cannot believe this is happening.
Yeah, I think that, but then at the same time, I think these people who are coming out and dogging Chris Jones, I think they're going to just change the tune completely when he comes back. That's what I think is going to happen. People online were saying, after Veach said that he might come back, and then Jones had the photo of him on the sidelines. Someone made a comment I could totally see them not saying anything about Chris Jones, and all of a sudden Thursday night, you see him run out of the tunnel with the Stone Cold Steve Austin music coming out.
That'd be good. That would be a good bright spot, man. That'd be a good feel thing for the fans that are true fans, right? I mean, seriously. But I don't like the talk and conversation that he's selfish and we don't understand where his priorities are. I've heard writers say this. I've read writers say this. I'm like, man, what are you on? What are you talking about? Yeah, seriously. So.
And then you look at the fan bases like San Francisco, because I've wanted to see how the people were talking about Bosa not because very similar situation with Jones as far as not saying holding out.
Yeah,
I don't really see that much nonsense on Bosa. It was but the comments are we're not paying a franchise quarterback, freaking pay Bosa already. I don't know what we're doing. So similar, but it's more on the side of Bosa, not really so much how it is in Kansas City, where people were acting like they are the ones responsible for Clark Hunt's bank account. But then in Minnesota, I didn't even realize that TJ Hawkinson was holding out while he was doing a hold in. I read, and he just got, I think he's the highest paid tight end now. But I was reading Diana Rossini had tweeted this. No one knew this, right? Because it's we see all the stuff about Jones and Bosa, nothing about TJ Hawkinson. The guy was holding out, and we're 1 week away from week 1 of the season. Rossini tweeted, TJ Hawkinson had been dealing with an ear infection and back pain for the last month. The injuries appear to be part of his hold in order to get his new contract. He now gets his deal, and the team gets their top tight end back for next week. So, there's a lot of this going on, and things are starting to happen.
Man, so this reality is this: money is going up in the NFL. Okay, that's the market rate. That's how these things go. Okay, that's the market. Can't be mad at the market because that's what it is. When I'm sitting over here and I'm talking about why running backs should get paid, no, they shouldn't. Well, that's the market. Okay, I'm mad at where the market is. So I'm insisting where the market is for the running backs because I think they're being underpaid. Okay, people could be mad at the market because they feel like somebody's being inflated and is being overpaid. We can have an argument on both those things, right? Both those planes. My thing is, Bosa hadn't won a championship. Okay. Chris Jones is up for Defensive Player of the Year, right? He's got 2 Super Bowls. Okay? He's got 2. And so the thing is, we know what he means to our defense, just like Bosa means that much to San Fran. All right? So that's it, man. That's the main thing. But I without a doubt, I don't doubt Chris Jones is going to be here. I think this week it gets done. We just got to remember who this guy is. Don't think that he's just sitting over in the corner like, I'm just going to be greedy. I don't care nothing about this. That's crazy to me. That's unbelievable. Like all the time and dedication he's given. And I think I know this because playing the game, you know what your body goes through. You know what those guys in the locker room mean to you. You know what it means when you go out there on the football field. You know what those things mean to you. You know what it means. So, Chris Jones, he's not that guy. He deserves every penny he's trying to get for being paid the second highest. We don't know what that number is. We have no idea. Okay, but I'm just gonna let them hash it all out, man. Let them do they do. Okay, they'll get it done.
Yeah, and the fact that Veach is coming out a week before the first game of the season saying, "Hey, I think he'll be with us for the first game of the season." That's the person I want to be hearing from. It's not like it's not Adam Schefter saying, "Yep, both sides think they can get something done," but no, it's the guy who's working on the deal is saying that. So
yes,
he wouldn't put his neck out on the line and say something like that. That could piss off Chief fans. Like, what you told us he was going to be there for week one, and he's not there. So him saying that, I think he's giving a little more info.
He said Toxins came back up, right? Toxins came back up.
Yep.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna leave it at that, man. But I will say this, and I'm in it like with this. We need Chris Jones. We look at the defensive line. We need Chris Jones. We need him. Okay, for a whole defense to be effective, where we don't have to score 45 points every game. We need Chris Jones.
I agree. I mean, I was looking at I'm waiting to place I'm going to take the Chiefs week one, but I'm waiting to place my bet for that because I think right now that we're a 6.5 point favorite. If he's not there, I could see that line going down a little bit. Not that I think they're going to beat us if Chris Jones is not there, but I'm just saying it's an intriguing thing, especially the way our D-line looked against Cleveland's the 2s and 3s in that first quarter.
Them suckers going to load up and they're going to run the football. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, Montgomery and Gibbs will have a day, I think, if he's not there. But based on Veach's comments, it seems like he will be there, but we'll see.
He'll be there.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.